Hey there, I'm Metagross Freak, and here I have Transformers Fall of Cybertron Voyager class Soundwave. Now this is a figure from 2012. I was able to get it on eBay for about 30 bucks, and this is actually an upscaled version with a better gimmick of the deluxe class figure from 2010. So the deluxe class figure, which I've shown in a few videos, is, of course, a deluxe class size, and you can store the shoulder cannon and the collapsible pistol in the chest. However, this version of Soundwave does not come with any kind of additional features other than transforming, and he has none of his minions. This version of Soundwave, however, does come with Laserbeak, as you can see both in the back, on the package here, and the fact that it says Laserbeak included on the package. Right here, which I think is kind of funny. He does come with his shoulder gun. Oh, there we go, shoulder gun. But he doesn't have a pistol. Ironically enough, the artwork on the back of the box shows him with Optimus Prime's ion rifle, I guess because they wanted to have him holding some kind of a firearm, but it is not included. It also shows this in the instructions, but he does not come with an ion rifle. He has a very similar alt mode to War for Cybertron Soundwave, but he's a little bit bulkier, as we'll be able to see in just a moment. Laserbeak folds into what's called a data disk that can be stored kind of like a really thick CD inside of Soundwave's chest and can be ejected. Unfortunately, there is no weapon storage for the shoulder cannon other than just on the shoulder or on the roof of the vehicle, but that's okay. This is a 2012 model, and I've actually wanted this for a while because I view this as being an upgrade of this figure, and I just didn't get around to getting one until recently because up until now I found this for like $50 or $60. I didn't want to pay that much, but 30, that I'm willing to pay for. Here's Soundwave in his robot mode, and you can see here's Laserbeak in his data disk mode. For those of you who are familiar with Bakugan, he kind of reminds me of a little Bakugan trap, and in order to open these, you just drop them on the table, and you can see he flips out into Laserbeak. That's all he does. A little disappointing there, but for comparison on Laserbeak, here he is with the Laserbeak from I think it's either Titan's Return. Yeah, Titan's Return Laserbeak. It could also be Combiner Wars, I'm not sure. I've reviewed this figure though. You can see they are kind of roughly the same size. This is when Legends classes got their kind of scale right. So yeah, I think this works out well, and the fact that they both compact into a size that can go inside their respective Soundwave's chests is pretty cool. And he's got a really easy transformation. You just take the head, flip it back, close up the tail, close up the wings, make sure you get the tabs right, and then boop, there he is. On our Soundwave figure, you can open up his chest compartment by pressing this button. You can also bend his arm. You can see his finger is molded to be going like this, like a trigger. So he can either be, pew, 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 with a pistol, or he can push his own button. And then there's this plunger on the back that you pull back to allow you can pull back to allow data disks in. I believe you're supposed to do the data disk going facing forward. Let me see to get this in. It's my first time doing this. There we go. He can fit 3 of these. As you can see, the plunger does go back quite a way, so you can fit up to 3 of these. And then to launch them, you just push forward, I guess. He's supposed to pop them out like that, because it's supposed to push the button when it deploys. So you basically force it out of the chest and definitely more of a gimmick. I've seen multiple videos both of this figure and its redeco slash remold for Blaster, and neither one really works too well. But yeah, not bad for Soundwave. And I briefly showed the War for Cybertron, and here he is. The old Soundwave could flip his teeth up as like a grill, like a cow catcher in vehicle mode. This version Soundwave doesn't do that because the teeth are molded onto a plate. They can actually lift up, I believe, for transformation, but I kind of like the look of this because it looks like he has a targeting computer. So you can always imagine he's got a targeting computer if he's holding his blaster, his cannon, in his hand, just as an alternative idea. Also, unlike the old Soundwave, whose tusks flip around and they fold to his back, this version, the tusks don't flip around. They just fold from the front and peg onto the back. But you have to be careful because it can block the clearance for the plunger used for the chest gimmick. And I imagine if he's walking around like that, it'd be very bulky, but that's not too bad. I'm a fan of this. I'm definitely going to put this on my shelf. I really like this. I'm happy. Very, very happy I spent the money on this. Right here is Soundwave in his communications van mode. And it's very nice. It's big, it's bulky. I mean, it's about the size of a baked potato, as you can see. It is phenomenal. You've got this little seat up here with a turret that is designed to fit Diaclone or those little Star Wars Transformer crossover figures, but it actually can. It doesn't clip in or anything, but it can fit a Titan Master or a Prime Master if you so choose, which is kind of cute. It basically is just a bigger, beefier, upgraded version of his War for Cybertron counterpart. Before I show that, I will point out that the main differences, other than the single weapon and the gimmick in the front, visually the differences are that this one has more decals, like the red on the sides. It also has transparent purple wheels with silver paint, as opposed to just kind of silverish gray wheels with a little bit of purple paint. And also the whole front fender window thing can pose. It can either plug in like that if you want it just flat up against the body. You can lift it up to kind of friction peg it like that, which is kind of how you're supposed to do it in the directions. And then you can also fold the teeth in. What? You can either have it like that, which looks ridiculous, or you can just have them going down at a slight angle to replicate how it looked in the original deluxe class figure from 2010. Of course, we got a little bit of gold in the back where the knees are. This is really cool. But this is a lineage of figures. It's actually the second in a line of 4+ figures. Of course, the original being the deluxe class Soundwave. You can see this figure is taller, a little bit longer, wider, heavier. It also is a better shade of blue, in my opinion. This is kind of more of it's like a navy blue, but it has a slight gray undertone. This is more just navy blue with a kind of a matte finish. I really like the look of this. I know my light makes it look a little more orangish blue, but don't worry, it looks a lot better with a more neutral color of light. I think this is phenomenal, and obviously you can see there's more detail. It does trade in the double weapons, basically for the gimmick, and it just has the one cannon. You can see even the cannons, that the Voyager's one is a lot bigger, even though it's the same basic idea. But before we have that, we have, of course, the Voyager. Then there's the Prime Deluxe class, the one that turns into a stealth bomber. We also have technically the Beast Hunters Deluxe, which is basically just a redecoed Soundwave with an additional accessory. And then, that's why I said 4, technically 5. Then we have the version from Robots in Disguise, which is also, it doesn't have a name, an official name, but it is also technically a communications van styled vehicle. You can see it definitely looks like it belongs in the family. Let me put it closer with its other counterpart. There we go. Unit kind of looks, of course we got the turret up at the top, we got the transparent wheels, we got the window in the front, legs folded in the back. It's a very clear lineage. And then I said, again, technically 5 because this version also has 2 other molds. It has the, I think it's a technically 3-step changer, or might be a 1-step changer, which basically looks just like this. But we also have the activator, which has a lot more of that van look to it. It doesn't have a cannon on top, but the feature of the activators is it has pop-out weapons, and here we have 2 blasters and missile launchers. So let me see if I can get all of these in frame at once. Okay, so we have Fall of Cybertron, sorry, War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, not Power of the Primes, but Robots in Disguise, and then Robots in Disguise Activator. I don't have Prime's Stealth Bomber yet. I know, audience. I know you're waiting. Shh. It's coming soon, I promise. But you can clearly see that in the last decade, Soundwave has had a very consistent, like van mode with his classic 80s window right in the front. I think this is a phenomenal feature. Titan's Return, if you're familiar with Titan's Return's Soundwave, that version of Soundwave was a little bit different because he didn't turn into a van. He turned into the classic Soundwave cassette player. I mean, I'm going to say that was more of an homage to the original Soundwave, but if they had to give him a vehicle, I'm sure it would have looked something like this. Just phenomenal. It's just, in my opinion, it's a phenomenal figure. And this definitely is kind of the big boss, if you will. The only Soundwave bigger than this is Masterpiece Soundwave and, of course, Titan's Returns Leader Class Soundwave. I'm potentially going to get the Masterpiece Soundwave as well. It does cost about $160, so it's going to be on kind of my my wish list, so to speak. This is Fall of Cybertron Soundwave. Overall, I think, while he doesn't come with a gun, you can always just give him the gun of the his smaller counterpart. I think this is a great figure, and I honestly love this a lot more than the 2010 figure. He's bigger, he's bulkier, he's got more of a traditional Soundwave color, and I just love everything about him. The ratchets make his transformation clicky. He has a laser beak. He can deploy things. The weapon mounting on his back makes a lot more sense than just having them either just coming off of his butt or storing in his chest. I just think this is an upgrade in every way, and I'm really glad I found it for a reasonable price. And look, if you bend the arm in a weird way, like I have, you can even have Laserbeak just sitting on his arm. You can just hang it out, and the shell of the wing can actually help hide that button if you don't want the button visible for opening the chest. I just think this is a great figure, and I would recommend picking it up if you are a fan of Soundwave like I am. Also, I do remember that I forgot to show a contemporary comparison. So, just because it is right off the side, here he is with Power of the Prime Starscream. You can see that Voyagers have not changed very much over the last 6 years. Yeah, because this is 2012. This is 2018. You can see Voyagers haven't changed very much in size since then. So thank you all for watching. Until next time, I've been Metagross Freak, and this Soundwave is definitely superior. I'll see you next time.